Hi folks, I'm Mike Wells, your World Explorer, and today we're opening up Collector's Corner. Alright, I wanted to show you my grading system. Okay, so first we're going to go over corners, then edges, then the faces, and the alignment on the faces. Now out of a total possible 12 points, you get a point for each edge that is good, a point for each corner that is perfect, and a point for each face that's front and back of the card that has virtually no flaws, and then a point for each face if the alignment of the print is either very close to accurate or perfect. And so that makes up a total of 12 points. Today we're going to take a look at the 1995 Marvel Masterpiece. I put my protective plastic over the remaining stack so I don't want dust to settle on it. Anyhow, if we look on this card, let's look at the face. You already see something right there. Let's see. That's going to need to be rubbed off, if I can get away with rubbing it off with a Q-tip, cotton preferably. So let me see if I can get away with doing that. Now I just set this card down on top of my record stack where I write, but I grab a plastic sleeve, soft sleeve, and I make sure that I'm not touching the card with my actual finger. So I'll just take the Q-tip, the cotton Q-tip is very simple, and try to see if I could push that thing off of there. It looks like just a very simple debris. Yep, there it goes. Alright, so that little debris piece is off. It's kind of just sitting there right now. I wonder if you can see it. Let's figure it out. There it is. And I'm just going to dump it on my floor. I'll get that later and vacuum it up. And it's gone. So sometimes you get a little tiny piece of debris that found its way into a collection or a stack or whatnot, and you don't want to toss the card out just because of one little tiny piece of debris that could possibly be managed. So you can do something like that to try and mitigate a disaster. Anyhow, this card has a few flaws. Definitely right there is a flaw. This was probably in a binder at some point and got binder damage from one of the snaps, one of the binder pieces in the center. And so that's what that looks like. That is, and that's gonna drop the grade of this card significantly. Now, if you look at the edges, or the corners. The corners are in pretty good shape. I even use the magnifier here. Corners are in great shape. So I never actually touch the faces of my cards. You can usually eyeball the corners, but if you want a closer view, you use your magnifier. Now, these edges, if you look up here, it looks like there's a slight amount of chipping on that edge. So I would say definitely one of these edges is not good. So I'll take and note you got 4 good corners, so you got 4 points. One edge we know has a little bit of chipping. Let's turn it on to the back side to see what the edge looks like there. Now I can tell you right away that this entire edge on the top side has chipping. Let me see if I can sneak around and show you with this magnifier. Yeah, see that? Very evident, very clear. That's chipping on the back side, and that's not what you want to see to get a card graded higher. So we immediately can see that there are 2 edges that have some chipping, and the other 2 seem to be just fine. So we're only going to get 2 points on the edges. Now the faces. I would say this face is compromised, but not dead. Let's look at this face. This face looks pretty good. Now you see over here next to this finger, you see what appears to be that indent showing. That's a compromised face in my opinion, but the rest of the entire face looks really good. So you got to ask yourself, what do I do in a situation like this? How do I? Well, you're better to be safe and go with a lower score on that card because of that. So I'm going to take and give it 1 point for the faces. Now the alignment, you don't have to. There's a special tool you can get to figure out if your alignment is off. I can tell you just by looking at this, the alignment right here is off. But if you go over here, it looks fine. This gap here is bigger than the gap there. It's not always a positive thing, but look on the back. Gap there is slightly bigger than the gap there. But then over here, the gap here is bigger than the gap here. So I don't know if this alignment's all that good. But even if it's not, it didn't affect the aesthetics of the card. So I'll give it a 1 on alignment. Now I'm a very overly cautious card critiquer or analyzer, if you would say. So if you look at this score, let's take a look here. You got 4 points, 2 points, 1 point, 1 point, right? So that's an 8. Now because that face has that indentation, I'm going to give it an 8 minus. So I would say a low 8. And then that's it. I will fold this piece of paper, place it with my card. That way it's the information is with the card, and then I sleeve them together, and that's it. It just goes in my stack. There you have it. If you want to try to grade your cards yourself, it's called pre-grading. Before you send them off, you can do that. All you really need for pre-grading is this tool right here, a little eyeglass magnifier, and then maybe a way to keep notes. This is just a convenient method that I've developed for myself. These are not Post-its. This is dry. You just peel it off and put it with your cards. Alright, so I'm getting around to what I have determined to be the Sifa score. Me personally, if the score is 8 and up, it is grade worthy. Now, an 8 minus is questionable, but if you really want to up the ante, you would do 10 and up is grade worthy. It really depends on how in demand the card is that you're having graded. If it's a high value card and you're looking to resell it, even a low grade on a high value card, because of its rarity, may make it worth it to have that card graded. But for me, most of the cards that I'm sending away to grade are in demand, but not tremendously in demand. So yeah, pre-grading is frowned upon heavily in the card grading industry, but I do it as a precautionary measure for myself when I want to send cards away, because there's nothing worse than sending a batch of cards away to be graded and then getting back 3s and 4s and 5s, because that basically tells you, oh, I've wasted my money having these cards graded. Anyhow, that's all I got on this topic for now, and this is my system. You can develop your own system if you want, doesn't matter, or take notes and learn from what I've provided you here today. Anyhow, I'll be providing more videos coming up on different cards, TCGs, even just marble collector's cards, stuff like that. So here is where Collector's Corner on my channel is born. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.